around the lens there is a hanging part. Suppose this is a lens, okay, and around the lens there is a hanging part around it. That hanging part is nothing but the iris or ideal part, okay, iridial part, okay. And why it is said incomplete? Because it is not covering entire lens. This part is called as the lens. You can look into the diagram also, okay, the diagram we have drawn before this. So here this region is the iridial part, okay, so which is incomplete one. The next, central circular aperture is called the pupil. So in between the what we say iridial part, okay, on the both the side you can see, right? So that the space which is present in between this, there is a pupil, that is a aperture, okay. Aperture means small hole, okay, or orifice, which can also be referred as orifice. So that is the pupil whose size can be regulated by two sets of smooth iridial muscles. Okay, so this aperture or the pupil, okay, its size can be regulated by the iridial muscles or the two sets of iridial muscles. Now which are these two sets? Let's see. Now that is number one, the sphincter muscle. Okay, sphincter muscles. And number two is the dilator muscles. Sphincter muscles and the dilator muscles. Now let's start with the first one, that is the sphincter muscle. Sphincter muscle. Okay. Now what these sphincter muscles are exactly? These are circularly arranged. These are circularly arranged. And when contracts decreases the size of pupil. Means on contraction of sphincter muscle, okay, the orifice or the space which has been present as called as pupil will be decreased. Okay. The next is the dilator muscle. Dilator muscles. Okay, so dilator muscles, these are radially arranged radially arranged, and when contracts, it increases the size of pupil. Okay, so these are what two different types of muscles, which are the sphincter muscle as well as the dilator muscle. Okay, so they are supposed to increase as well as decrease the size of the pupil. Okay, on contraction of sphincter muscle, okay, which are circularly arranged, the size of the pupil will be decreased. Okay, and the dilator muscles which are radially arranged, okay, you know the radial and circular meaning, radially, right? So their arrangement is radially, and when they contract, the size of pupil will increase. Okay, so this is what about the iridial part. Okay, the next, let's see. Let's see about the neurons, okay, which are associated with the movement or the movement of the eyes. So basically, a part or a point which is associated with the pupil again, when a bright light, okay, when a bright light passes into the pupil, the size is decreased. The size is decreased. Whose size? Pupil size will be decreased. The size is decreased due to why? किसकी contraction की वजह से होगा decrease? That is due to the contraction of the sphincter muscles. Okay, जैसे light fall होती है तो वहाँ पे हम लोग देख सकते हैं वहाँ पे contraction है और वो size जो हो गया pupil का it will be decreased. Okay, you can also try it at home by focusing the small light, that is a what we say, the torch. Okay, simply most of the time when we go to a doctor, okay, at that time they also check, right? While checking also, when they project the light on the eyes, okay, it happens that there will be like it will start to contract, isn't it? That contraction is nothing but due to the presence of the sphincter muscles. Okay, now fine, the next, and when such decreases, means when such muscles, okay, means the pupil, when they are decreased, the dilator muscles will help to increase the orifice later, means it will be acting later the sphincter muscles, okay, it will help in the dilation. So right on one more point, so iris acts as a diaphragm. Iris acts as a diaphragm of photographic camera. Diaphragm of photographic camera. Okay. The third part is the retina. Okay. Third part is the retina. That is after the fibrous fluidic, okay, middle uvea, okay. The third part is the retina. retina. Okay, so retina is also referred as the tunica nervosa. Tunica nervosa. It is also called as the tunica nervosa. Okay, now here it is innermost. It is innermost and incomplete layer. It is innermost and incomplete layer. Okay, it is also formed of. It is also formed of. It is also formed of 3 parts. It is also formed of 3 parts. Now, which are these 3 parts? That is, the first part is optical part. Optical part. So basically, optical part is pigmented, okay, and it is a thick part. So you can write it is thick, pigmented, thick, pigmented, and photosensitive part. Photosensitive part. Okay, which is present along inner side of chorioid. Along inner side of chorioid. Okay, along inner side of chorioid. It forms posterior two-thirds part of retina. You can see retina or the optical part of the retina. Okay, it is thick as well as pigmented. Pigmented in the sense, which type of pigment? Melanin. Okay, and photosensitive part. That means light will be focused into this part. Okay, which is present along the inner side of the chorioid. Okay, look into the diagram. You will understand. Okay, where exactly these parts are seen. Means optical part of the retina along the side of the chorioid. It forms posterior two-third part of the retina. Okay, so that is what it is. The next, see in the end we have drawn like this. The structure is there, isn't it? Here, this part is the optic nerve basically. If it is not been labeled, you can label it. Okay, optic nerve. In the diagram, if it is not labeled, you just label it optic nerve. Okay, so this is the optic part over here, right? The diagram, that is the optic part. The next, structure of retina. Dividing structure of the retina. Now, what exactly the structure of retina is? So retina is formed of 4 layers of cells. Okay, it is formed of 4 layers of cells. Retina is formed of 4 layers of cells. Retina is formed of 4 layers of cells, right? So these layers form outer to inner. These layers from outer to inner, from outer to inner, okay, outer to inner in such an arrangement, that is first will be, that is the outer to inner, we are taking outer to inner, okay. So the outermost will be the pigmented epithelium, okay. Pigmented epithelium. Epithelium means it is the outermost, isn't it? Epi matlab outer ho, epithelium is tissue. So epithelium, that is pigmented epithelium, right? Pigmented epithelium of cuboidal cells, pigmented epithelium of cuboidal cells having melanin, pigment granules, okay, melanin pigment granules. Full stop. Function, it helps in absorption of light, okay. That is the function of the pigmented epithelium, okay. So outer part, it is a pigmented epithelium, okay. Then second is the a layer of two types of photoreceptors, okay, a layer of 2 types of photoreceptors, that is rods and cones, okay, having light sensitive photopigments, okay, fine. Remaining part we will see in the next part or the next lecture, okay. So just do one thing, after going to home, look after the diagram or the structure of the eye, okay, and look after these points which have been already been mentioned into that structure, okay, and remember their function, because here the structure, what it is made up of and what is their main function, it is very important, and when questions are asked on the function only, okay, as well as sometimes it will be asked on the structure, means what type of epithelial cells are formed, okay, what type of muscles they are, whether they are circular, okay, or they are radially arranged, isn't it? If and what will be their expansion, means what will be the function, okay, contraction decreases the size of pupil, okay, and contraction which will increase the size of pupil where, so in the different types of muscle, that is the sphincter as well as the dilator, okay. Just look after the points. If you have any kind of difficulty, you can ask me, okay. Thank you.